This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you tuned into every Saturday afternoon. I'm Elson McGee, your host, and I'm here today doing the same thing we've been doing ever since we started the show, trying to make sense out of a sensitive situation called the plight of veterans in the USA, and the USA with the plight of veterans. But I'm here today again with two veterans, because what this is about is veterans talking to veterans and the community, and we're talking about it all today. Benefits. What you don't know that can hurt you. We got to understand this. The benefits that we earn from our honorable military service is supposed to give us a boost up into society after we come back. And that boost up is for the veteran, his family, and the community. See, we got to realize that we are a product of our community. We are a product of our families. And when we go off into the military, you know, we take all that the family has given into the military with us. And what we bring back should be a dividend. You know, it shouldn't be. But we're here today to talk about these benefits. And I'm here with my sidekick and my treasurer and my brother, Tony. I want to say Anthony, but we like to call him Tony. You know, married. And this brother is one of the most detailed minds I have ever met. He can remember stuff, man, I forget when I finish talking, you know. But thank you, Tony, for being back here again today, brother.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
You know, I couldn't do all what we're doing without him, because he, you know, we are all over everywhere, and he's gonna talk about some of that today, because he's gonna give us sort of an update on where we at with the Sons of Atlanta, Vietnam War Memorial. That's just part of what we do with Veterans Talk. We want to be the voice of veterans in this country, period. But especially in Fulton County and the state of Georgia, because this is where we're from. You know, these are our hoods. We are concerned with what we see and what's going on in our communities, and we think that veterans could be a very powerful instrument for the community and bringing about some changes with some of these things. So we're here with veterans talking to veterans and the community again today. Now, I want to start off saying that we're doing the same thing that we kicked off last week with Councilman Bond coming through, and that was a blessing, because me and Tony went down there, and sure enough, he gonna talk about that. I'm just so excited.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I ain't finna do it. I get to talking too long. Y'all know. Okay, y'all know how I go. So Tony, come on, bro.
Yes. Yeah, we met with. Well, first of all, I'm Tony Merritt. Everybody calls me Tony, and Vietnam veteran. I'm a Vietnam era veteran. I didn't go to Vietnam, but I served during the era proudly. And as a result, once I got out and I found out that this was something that Reverend McGee was planning on doing, because I became associated with the Concerned Black Clergy and joined the Veterans Affairs Committee, and that's when I found out about the plans for building a memorial in the city of Atlanta. And I'm going like, that's a great idea. I think I want to be involved in it. And that's how I became attached to this particular organization. But as he was saying, we went down and met with the Atlanta City Council. And they have reviewed our architectural design, all the plans that we have for the building of the memorial, and that they have proposed for the assisting us with the purchase and building of this memorial. And so we're really excited about that, and we can't wait until the final completion of this memorial, so that we can celebrate all the Vietnam veterans in the city of Atlanta. And I'm going to just take off this just a little bit. You know, one of the ways that we're raising funds to build this memorial, and we were doing this prior to the Atlanta City Council willing to take over and help us with a major portion of the building of the memorial, is we're selling commemorative bricks. And these commemorative bricks are to commemorate anybody, and I say anybody, that basically served in the military. The idea is that, of course, it's the Vietnam Memorial, and we want those Vietnam veterans to participate. But we have veterans in the city of Atlanta that have relatives that were in World War II, the Korean War, Desert Storm, and here's an opportunity for those family members who have members who served, some of which may pay the ultimate price, but if you just served and want to be a member of this particular memorial, here's a great opportunity to purchase a commemorative brick for the building of the memorial, and now you will be a representative as a son of Atlanta, regardless to which war you served in or regardless to which war your relatives served in, to be a part of this memorial. And we want everybody, because we are proud sons of Atlanta, and we know that you all are proud sons of Atlanta, or you have relatives that are proud sons and daughters.
And daughters.
I got an evil eye. So it just dawned on me.
Stay on a hole in your head.
Yes.
What?
And so we want everybody, that anyway is attached to any military service person or any military family that want to commemorate that person or that family member, or yourself. If you want to commemorate yourself on this particular Vietnam memorial, then we wish that you would go to our website, sonsofatlanta.org, and purchase a brick so that you will be a part of this memorial. We want everybody within the city of Atlanta. If you, like I said earlier, if you're a veteran, you're associated with any veteran organization, you have family members that are veterans, let's do the thing that Atlanta is known for, is celebrating our citizens. And here's a perfect opportunity to do that. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Reverend McGee.
And I'm going to follow up with Tony. You need to go to the Sons of Atlanta website, sonsofatlanta.org. Now, I'm going to tell you something that happened to me recently, Tony. I was on the City of Atlanta Channel 26 website, and I saw this organization called House Proud. And these are young ladies. Yeah. Most of them are veterans, female veterans, that fix up homes for seniors and disabled veterans in the city of Atlanta. And I call, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the people that's already out there doing stuff to come together so we can do a better stuff. Mm-hmm. So I called, left my number, and the next morning, a young lady called me. Her name was Glenda. I'm gonna talk Glenda, Smart. And we was talking, and she was telling me she was a veteran, which she answered the phone, returned, and then we kept talking. And I was telling her I was Vietnam, and she said, well, my brother was in Vietnam. He got killed in Vietnam. It kind of stopped. Had to kind of stop right there, because now I want to know where you're from. She's a Grady baby. Now you're really getting serious with me. So your brother's on the wall in D.C. Yes, he is. I said, you need to go to the website right now. Go to the website. She went to the website and found her brother's picture on the website. So this we're bringing it to make it relevant to our hometowns, and we hope that every city in this country, every county in this country will follow suit, because we got to make this sacrifice meaningful to the nation, and it can only start from the hometowns from which we come. This is personal. Now you think about. We're just representing 240 young people. But you got DeKalb County, you got, Gwinnett, you got all of these kind of, and we're looking at this wall in D.C. with 58,000, man. It's so much, it's so overwhelming, you can't grasp it all. But when you bring it home, when you make sure that the people from which we come, our neighbors and our friends, our schools, recognize the value of our service and what we sacrifice to do this service. And to think about this, less than 1% of the U.S. population ever served in the U.S. military. Now, this is crazy, because this small minority, you wouldn't think that out of this small covenant minority. I won't say covenant. I'm a preacher, so I'm gonna cover this minority, this covenant minority. That you would think that they would be treated like first-class citizens. You know, with all the amenities. You know, remember, pledge allegiance to the flag. One nation, individual. We're living just for all. We want that. That was the pledge that we made with the hope in our hearts that we give this service to. That we're giving this service. It's not something that somebody made us do. But I was drafted. I was going to go anyway. But I was drafted. I was drafted, you know. But then now we got an all-volunteer military. My grandson was not drafted. He's on salute you, Freeman, and all you guys that still serving. But they was not drafted, but they're coming out of our communities every year. Every graduation school year, some of our young people are going into the military. Yeah. And I'm looking at some of these stories about Vietnam, and I don't want to see me in the magazines. We're not writing our own history, so somebody else is writing us out of history. And we got to recognize that by going back to the hometowns from which these 58,000 young men came from. And let me tell you something else they did. This is a secret that the civil rights folks need to know. We integrated America. In 1954, Truman issued an executive order that desegregated the U.S. military. Now, it took to 1954 for them to deactivate the last so-called colored unit. But, you know, then that meant that we were right there at Vietnam. All of these young men that died during the Vietnam War era came from every demographic in America. Every one. And we came out of segregated communities. We didn't know each other. We had never lived up under the same roof. But because the overriding purpose of the executive order was to rebuild the U.S. military because of what had happened in World War II. You know, you didn't have all that carnage in Korea. You had it, but not on the level of World War II in Vietnam. So Truman had to rebuild the U.S. military. And folks wasn't all that happy about going to the military. You know, they wasn't all that excited. America was not all that excited about going into the military. So they desegregated the military. Because now you got to understand there was some heroic stuff going on in that colored military. The Tuskegee Airmen and some more. There's some more folks I'm going to talk about that was heroic. We just didn't get no credit for it. You know, but that didn't stop us from being who we are. That didn't stop us from being who we are. And we need to make sure that the community start valuing this.
Yes.
You know, on a personal, everyday level. And what excites me more, Tony, about the memorial is in an open air setting. So every day people can visit this memorial. So we're going to be saying every day in Piedmont Park, you can remember that freedom ain't free. And that it's this small minority of people that come up to this level of service. Now, when we get finished with it, I told y'all about the story. My mom told me I need to go to the VA as soon as I got home. she started telling me, I want what I gave them back. But the families never get what they gave back. You know, especially when you got hazardous duty. You know, everybody. Now let's go forward. Everybody in the military don't have hazardous duty. Some people, you know, they live the life of good stuff, and that's all a part of the U.S. military. You know, and our community need to know that. You know, but those that carry the burdens of war, the nation have a sacred commitment to us, you know, to take care of us, and not just us, but our families, right, and our communities. It's to make our communities better through this gamut of benefits. So, with the Sons of Atlanta, when we finish this memorial in Piedmont Park, we're going into the community centers and libraries in our communities, and these communities. And we're gonna create first of all, volunteers that coming out of all these demographics. See, we want to be able to show them that we learn how to live together. We learn how to respect each other, you know. And then we bonded. There was a lot of bonding going on in that military that was in a segregated society that didn't stop people from start relying on each other, in combat and hazardous duty situations. You have to learn to depend on the person next to you, not the color of their skin. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing. But it's a thing we want you to tune into every Saturday afternoon. But we are still here trying to make sense out of a sensitive situation. We talk about the small minority of veterans, people that actually serve in the U.S. military. And then it's a smaller minority of those within that 1% that actually ever use the VA.
Right.
That don't have any use for the VA when they get out of the military. They might, some of them might go to school, right? Yeah. They take advantage of the education, which I did, and that most people do. But there's a smaller minority that's not capable of doing that when they come out of the military because they have been traumatized. Listen, I can remember stories about the U.S. Marine and how they was training, that the training was abusive. And you got to remember, you're talking about 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old young people who's very impressionable at that point. And you can be indoctrinated through militarism to the point that you can't get back by yourself. You can't get back by yourself. Right. So we need health care. So that's one of the benefits. But I don't see it when I look in my hometown, downtown, across from the Cape Capital. They are homeless veterans.
Yeah.
So we need to do something different in the community, because I can say this based on my years of being in the BSOs, that it's a side effect of the way we do business that make veterans have such a dismal plight in this country. It's just the way we do business. We choose to do business like that. But I mean, now as a preacher, I'm starting talking about morality, but I better get some more preachers in to help me with that conversation. So, because one of the things that we want to do in this show, that to have people to call in, because today we are here to talk again about disability benefits, the 5 elements of a claim. 5 elements. It's simple 5 elements. What you don't know can hurt you. You don't get that right, you're going to get denied. I can guarantee you that. If you don't get these 5 elements right when you file a claim, you're going to be denied. But that's not the only way the VA deny you. The process. How they process the claim. Do intake of the information that they're going to use in deciding your claim. We need to look at that, because what is happening to too many veterans, they file a claim, they're sick, right? But they're struggling. They file a claim anyway. They go get a little piece of the benefit. They know, well, I know that they're right, but then they do what I call low rating you. That's the old term, low rating. They have such a low rating of your disability because you don't have medicals, or the people that you're seeing to get medicals don't write up your chart in a way that shows the severity and chronic nature of your disability. So we want to be able to look at those things when we talk about the 5 elements. The first element you got to have for service connection. Now we're talking about service connection, not pension, right? We already talked about there are 2 disability statuses in the VA. One of them is pension, and the other is compensation. Veterans are eligible for both. But the compensation is a disability that is brought on by your military service, a cause as a result of your military service. In other words, something that happened to you when you was in the military, right? Something that happened to you when you were in the military. That's the first element in order to get compensation. The next element is to have a current disability. So you need a diagnosis, a medical diagnosis of the issue that you are claiming that make you disabled, right? You know, what I've seen too many times is veterans that was exposed to Agent Orange. I got Agent Orange. No, you don't have no Agent Orange, but you might have one of the diseases that's caused by Agent Orange. You need to know that before you go file it, because if you don't file it right, we talk about the duty to assist and to notify. That was supposed to be duties of the VA. They're supposed to assist you when you file a claim and notify you about information and evidence to support your claim. But now, I'm not saying they don't do that, but equally, I can say they don't do that. You know, across the board, I can say they don't do that. And you'll find that more relevant in cities, large cities where you got a large concentration of people of color. The VAs don't function as well. You get out into the suburbs, into communities where you don't have a whole bunch of population, the VA is excellent. This is veteran talk. We're gonna see. I got Melanie here today because Melanie is. I've been knowing Melanie. I don't want to tell her how old I am. You know, Melanie mother. I worked with Melanie's mother when I was at the VA, and I've been from the VA. I've been retired over 20 years. So, see how long I've been knowing Melanie. But Melanie is a veteran, and I know that she had her struggles coming out of the military because I knew her mother. I was not just a colleague of her mother. They used to tell me that me and Miss Lee act like we were sister and brother because I'm always asking for. She still tells me no when I know she gonna do it, and she can tell me no when she see me come. No, Mr. McGee, don't ask me to do that because I ain't gonna do it. They ain't on my case, but she would do it anyway. She would help anyway. So Melanie, how you doing? Good.
Doing great. I'm doing great.
You know, you've been in this disability process for a minute. I want you. I know it's difficult, but you have been magnificent about going about it in ways that you know you're gonna succeed. So, I mean, now I'm not saying you always did that.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Melanie Anderson. I've known Reverend McGee for over 30 years. My oldest daughter is 35. And we met him when she was about 4 or 5 years old, maybe about 6 years old. So 29 years, somewhere around there. I met Reverend McGee. My mother had insisted that I go and help this Vietnam veteran with his chapter, his Vietnam veteran chapter when he was on, I think it was Ralph David Abernathy. Yes. Yes, and he put me, he made me the project manager for a recording studio because I'm a singer and an artist, and my two daughters, Natasha and Taylor, I was to let them be the managers of the recording artists and a recording studio, and our goal was to support the upcoming young artist in the neighborhood in that area at the time, and so that's how I met Reverend McGee. But unfortunately, due to my mental illness, my struggles, I finally admitted that I needed to go see the VA. When I got out of the military, well, let me start from here. I was in the Navy from 1981 to 1991. After I got out, I relocated here to Atlanta, Georgia, and I did not go to the VA until 2003. And after I got out, I was a changed person, but I didn't recognize that. But my mother, being in mental health, she kept telling me, you need to go to the VA. And of course, I wouldn't do it, didn't see any need to, until some special things happened to me we won't discuss right now. But I finally decided that I needed help with the VA, so I filed a claim, and it has taken me, I can honestly say, I have wanted to give up every time I received one of those responses from the VA headquarters, the regional center. And I would read the letter, and it was so ambiguous and so unclear to me what it was exactly that they needed from me, that I would just say, forget it. And I would just let it go. And my mother, of course, being the persistent person that she is, she would always, you don't give up. Keep going. Don't give up. So when I met Reverend McGee, he got on board with the don't give up, keep going crowd. And finally, I can honestly say, May of 2019, I finally got the results that I was looking for. So you see, from 2003 to 2019, it took me all those years of giving up, not wanting to be bothered, being discouraged. So I understand what it means to really believe that, to really be disheartened by the fact that when you join them, when you swear an oath to our government and you swear an oath to our country, and you're made to believe that they're going to take care of you while you're in serving, and they're going to take care of you when you get out. Because there's certain illnesses, there's certain chronic diseases and disabilities that just because we were in the military, we acquire, and it only shows up as we get older in life. Mm-hmm. And it's a shame that we have to fight for that type of compensation and assistance when it comes to those things that the government, the military, the U.S. Armed Forces know that we're going to be facing as we get older in age, whether we went to sick call or not. The whole point is, if you marched for 2 months at boot camp and you're going to have feet and knee and back problems as you get older. When you become 45, 50, 55, you're going to have problems because of the constant running if you were in the Army, or, you know, or the constant eating of, let's say, MRIs or MREs is what they're called. Mm-hmm. When you eat that ration of food when you're in the Army and in the Marine Corps, not so much the Air Force or the Navy, but I'm saying when you eat that processed food, it messes with your digestive system. So as you get older in life, you're going to develop IBS, IBD. Those are things that you may not have gone to sick call for when you were younger, 19, 20, when you're 25, when your body can bounce back and can handle that type of rigorous, constant intake and pressure and stress on your body. But it doesn't show up until you get like in your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s. And unfortunately, some of us get turned down and we get denied for compensation or even recognition that we have these types of problems and that they are service connected, because we didn't go to sick call for those things and complain about having a stomach ache or being diagnosed with IBS when we were younger. And it's unfortunate we have to fight for the things that the government promised us that they would take care of us, not only while we were in the service, but when we got out of the service. And they're not holding up to their end of the bargain. So what I say to you is this: with that concept in mind, whenever you file a claim, whenever you find out that you have an illness or a chronic disease or anything that's wrong with you, your mind, your body, and you may think that it has to do with or is associated with or was started back when you were in the military, file your claim. And if you can't understand the letters that they send you after you file your claim, call that number that's down there. I think it's 1-800-827-1000. Yep, 827-1000. Call that number. And you talk to someone and you have them break it down to you exactly what it is that you need to have done. If you're working on your claim by yourself. Now, if you're working on the claim with a benefits representative, then they can help you. And if you're not clear, then you guys get on the phone and call and get clarification, because I would say that I would have been farther along in life. I would have had the help that I needed earlier in life if I had just not given up so many times, because I was frustrated and angry, and I didn't feel like I needed to have to fight for something that was common knowledge. So hang in there and don't give up. Keep going.
Because what you don't know can hurt you.
Yep.
It's an economic drain on our families when we are sick and unable to work, whether we're veterans or not. You know, and one of the biggest costs of families today is medical care. You know, we got too many people that well, Social Security, they just fight not to cover Medicare, not to cover all people. That's kind of antiquated thinking in our country. But now that goes to something that we need to be able to start looking at seriously, and that's the value of our vote. We're looking at right now in the state of Georgia, elections coming up. We know on the, I don't think it's no right there no more, but on the Republicans' agenda, the only thing that they are trying to do is take power for the sake of having power to continue old stuff.
Yes.
That's no longer relevant in this day's society. America is turning brown whether they want it to or not. It's nothing they can do about that. It was meant from that to happen. So all of this legislative stuff that they're doing is because we let them be elected to office.
Absolutely.
See, we got to be able to start thinking about what this individual that I'm voting for gonna do for my community. You know, I mean, I like riding on smooth streets, no bumps in the road.
Yes.
But if I ain't voting for the right person, I'm gonna bump the road. I'm gonna have them issues. And we need to understand that in military service, we learn that we gonna defend this democracy against all enemies. You know, foreign and domestic.
Domestic.
However they come.
That's right.
And it will stand if all of us get back on that one accord, that this is what we serve for, and this is what we're gonna have. All that scratch stuff about these super rich folks buying and selling, we don't have to cooperate. Well, Dr. King showed us that. Just stop buying their stuff.
That's right.
Just stop falling. Listen, don't feed the knee on your neck. We got to be able to intelligently say that and do that. You know, we got all this cussing and fussing, but ain't no changes. We killing each other like dogs. We died more in the streets of America today than they've died in Ukraine. Just that many of us. And it's by our own community.
Yes.
We gonna have to do better than this. You know, this is what veterans, I think this is why we went into the military, so we can learn to be good servants for our community, to be protectors of our community, to be protectors of our family. I don't want no war in Atlanta. Let me go wherever they at. Let me have a war on their land. You know, I don't want that kind of stuff around my children. I don't care if they is hard-headed. I know. I don't want that. I don't want that danger for them.
Right.
So we need to be better at vetting these politicians that we are aligned to be elected.
I
Because see,
agree.
what we did in this segregated moment that we had after military service, after we got discharged from military service, and this out of every demographic that's listening to me now, you know you had friends that you didn't talk to no more. We stopped communication. We stopped communication. We don't have no communication. So how can we have common interests? We think somebody got us thinking that we're in competition with each other. We're all in the same boat. You know, we all go to the same belief that, you know, we got a family. I want to take care of my family. I want the best for my family. I want to see my grandkids grow up in a free society where they ain't burning up because we done got global warming to the point that we want more convenience than we want life. You know, we done got hitched on what I call idolatry. Now I'm gonna get into it. But
that's what it is.
I call it idolatry. So I'm just gonna say this is veterans talk though, and we veterans talking to veterans in the community if they want to listen. But you need to listen about your benefits, because when you are denied your benefits, you're denying yourself, your family, and your community. What they gave you going in next high school, they didn't invest in you. My dad used to think he had an investment in me. You know, he said, "Oh, don't blow my, you know, I got a lot invested in you. You took care of me all my life." So I guess that's what he was talking about.
Yep.
Our families have an investment in us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our family have an investment in our children.
Yes.
We need a better community than a community where our children are getting shot because we got idiots with automatic weapons in our community. We don't need that kind of stuff. And we need to be able to talk to each other to come upon an agreement. Those people that want to be elected to office and they're running that kind of game, sorry about that. We don't need them in office. On now level, not city, county, state, or federal.
I agree.
We need to focus our attention on making sure that our people, those that are called by his name, know the truth. Know the truth. And make sure that we are going to push the truth. Current diagnosis. And once you get that current diagnosis, we back to the elements of a claim. I ain't going to get out there. I know y'all want me all that. But elements of a claim. Once you got the in-service stuff down, right? Something happened to you in service. You got proof of that. Now, if you ain't got proof of it, remember some of the people that you was in the military with. Get a buddy letter. You know, that helps. That gives you your service nucleus evidence.
I've seen it work.
Okay. Now you get a current diagnosis, right? Don't let nobody tell you got Agent Orange, you go file a claim, because you ain't gonna get nowhere. You know, you file a claim based on one of the conditions that Agent Orange causes, right? And let me say this: all of those conditions are not on the presumptive list at the VA. Did y'all hear what I said? Can
you explain the presumptive list?
That is a presumptive list at the VA that there are certain ailments that they recognize that if you were exposed, you automatically is service connected. If you exposed to Agent Orange and you got prostate cancer, you're service connected. That's the presumption. If you got diabetes, right, and exposed to Agent Orange, you got service connection. Parkinson, you know, certain kind of lung issues. So, and the list is still growing because, see, all of this is scientific and politics working together. We seen how that went during COVID, right? So we see how that goes during COVID. Well, it's more confusing when you look at how VA operate this in order to deliver the benefits that we have earned. Somebody in the way. You know, they got a lot of stuff in the way. Now, when I say a lot of stuff in the way, we got a brother here today, Kenneth Allen, is a friend, a brother that been fighting the VA for a few years. And what amazed me when I first met Kenny, I met him on the day the VA had made the decision in his case already. And he was trying to find out what was going on. We checked on it, found out they had just granted him a benefit, right? At the 100% level for pension. Now, he had filed for exposure to Agent Orange. But where he was in Augusta, Georgia, Fort Gordon, they acknowledged that the stuff was there, but it hadn't been officially authorized by VA, by Congress, for VA to accept that as an exposure point. That's politics, folks. That's the way politics roll. Right now, though, let me just give you some hope. Right now, there's a bill in Congress. It's called the Agent Orange for Thailand, right? So they trying to get Thailand recognized now. But we want to call one-off. We're going to call them to the show, asking them to amend that bill so that all these locations can be, you know, he hollers about veterans, you know, and we know Herschel ain't going to do that. So we ain't going to Herschel Walker.
He's running a football player.
For Senate. He's running for Senate. So we're not going to talk about it. We just we talk. Yeah. It's veterans talking to veterans. Yes. But we got the right to talk about whatever we want to talk about. Right. We're not advocating no
either one.
We're not advocating no violence whatsoever.
Right.
And we're not talking about storming the Capitol.
Right.
You know, so we're going to be able to have good communication, and it's going to be informative communication, because we're going to vet each other. You know, if it ain't true, we're gonna say it. Hey, wait a minute, I got some information, you need to update your database. Because, see, one of the things that's happening on media, and we might as well look at it, all of this disinformation is designed to be a distraction to you. You know, it's designed to be a distraction to you. And we got to be careful not to be distracted. Right? So they say in these last days, the anointed might be distracted.
No,
so,
will be.
Yeah.
They don't might.
Yeah.
It will.
Will be. You know, so we got to be careful and making sure that the information we're giving out are valid information that people can follow, and we're not hollering wolf. You know, we can categorically point what we're talking about with cases. You know, with people. You know, that have suffered. Kenny's been in this process since, on the appeal process since 2017. And what he's trying to do now, his appeal is really simple, right? He want his ailments to be recognized under Agent Orange, meaning moving him from the pension register to the compensation register. It's just a matter of paperwork. You made a mistake. You didn't grant exposure, right? You didn't recognize exposure. Well, during the time Kenny put his stuff in, he started in the legacy process. That's an old process, right? Where you didn't have all these steps and all these forms you had to follow. But that changed in 2019, and before the change, now you got to understand, VA know what changes are coming because they making most of them. So they staff accordingly, and then they program their staff to follow some kind of dogma. You know, we'll talk about that part sometime later. But Kenny appeal has not been heard yet since 2017, because we've been turned back 3 times for forms, been on the wrong form. You don't put it on the right form, and then I'm gonna tell you, let's see, they don't know what the form is right or not. Because the first form that we filed, they said that was the wrong form. They sent us to get another form, then they sent that in, they waited 9 more months. And now they're saying they send the form that we first filed, we need to send that one. So what we're caught up in with some of our getting our disability is the process at VA. And if you don't know the process, you can't, levy change, right? You got to levy change. You can't just go in there and then mess me over. You got to levy change. You got to have some balance of power in order for power to change. You know, once you get a balance of power, then you can see some change. And the balance of power for us is the vote. That's our balance of power. We have to be able to communicate to those people that are running for office what is going on that we need change. That we have a right to have change too.
Yep.
You know, veterans have a right to these benefits. It's not something that you looking for them to just give you.
Right.
You know, you earn that. You need truth in that process. You don't need to be slid over here because somebody don't want to recognize where your ailments came from. They recognize that you got them. They recognize that they got you disabled at 100%. But they don't want to recognize where it came from because it will put you over in a service-connected register rather than the register that you in at the time. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you tuned into every chance you get, because what we're doing here, and we're going to continue to do it, is trying to make sense out of a sensitive situation. And I think if we don't keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, we're going to see some changes. And the way we do that is get veterans to tune into this show so we can talk together. so we can have some impact in our community. Listen, one of the things that I'm proud of that Tony and I have done and been lobbying for, we got Fulton County government to put up $1 million. The special allocation. Now you could go to Fulton County and get money for veterans programs anyway. Community block grants, you can do that.
Oh, you can.
But yeah, anytime. But this is a special allocation just for veterans in Fulton County. Now this is a first. But what we hope it is a teaching moment for veterans. You know, if we take this $1 million, you know, and do good with the $1 million, we're gonna get more. And we're gonna do good with the $1 million because, see, I believe that community is ready to work together. Now, I believe my hometown is ready to work together to change some of the issues that we have in that community. And one of the things that we can, listen, if you want to reduce the crime rate in the city tomorrow, you can. All you got to do is do away with lack. Take away the lack. You see, most of the crimes that we see in our cities are crimes of survival or greed. And then you got these crimes of omission of the laws. It's a crime to omit to enforce the law. See, when your children see somebody breaking the law and they ain't being punished, they ain't got that lower that respect for the law. Gun violence is not something that just start happening. We got too many guns in our homes. They land them around for children to pick up. Children think that that's the way of life. They got a gun, so they pick it up and take it to school. They don't know no better because we're not teaching them any better. And we need to be able to focus on some of these issues. You know, I know what an automatic weapon was designed for. I had one in Vietnam. I don't want to see no automatic weapons in the streets of Atlanta. I mean, come on, have some good sense. You talking about gun sense, I think you got a right to bear arms. I stand up for that. But you don't have a right to bear no automatic weapon. That ain't no that's not what they talking about. And we need to get judges there to say that. Because you know what Dred Scott told us, right? The law is what the judge say the law is. So that's why we should be glad we get somebody on the Supreme Court look like us. Now, wait a minute, let me straighten that up, because we had somebody on the Supreme Court that looked like us.
Okay.
So anyway,
Stop it.
Anyway, this is Veterans Talking.
Yeah, move on.
You know, we don't talk about it because we know about it. You know, it ain't nothing that we're not going to talk about, because it makes sense for us to be together and talking, having communication about things that affect us in our community. It's not something that we should be ashamed of. Now, one of the things that I have been on a kick with since I was diagnosed with another one of the Agent Orange issues, systemic heart disease. All of a sudden, I'm concerned more about the health part of it now than I am about the benefits than the benefits part. Now, one of the things that I want to bring this up, that's why I'm putting call Tish now for a minute. This is one of the things that veterans need to start looking at. I don't care if you know that the VA rating ain't gonna be as much as you want it to be. You need to live to enjoy the benefits. So we got to start doing something different with our health. We got to. Or we're not gonna live long enough to do well. You know, where we live, the standard of living, the quality of life is such. I go to nursing homes and VA hospitals with veterans that can't get out of the bed, that can't hold a cell phone. You know, so we got to take this platform, the Sons of Atlanta. We got to take this platform and make sure that we get changes in our community. Tish, I want to ask you, how You know, you got some that I really want people to hear what you got, because I'm hoping that you will do something. We'll talk about that off the air. But you got some kits. You got some stuff that immediately now, you know, you got to buy it right now. We're working on something else, but right now, you need to get this stuff that she's talking about, because state of mind is everything. State of mind. You know, and when you sick, you ain't a good person to even live with. You know, could you tell us a little bit, Keisha, about how we can, please?
Can you hear me?
It's on.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Trish Lewis. I am the co-founder of Veterans of Virtue, and we are a holistic organization that deals with mental health, physical health, behavioral health through holistic awareness. As Rev was saying, the significance of your mental health is directly related to your gut health. So if you're not eating the right foods, more than likely you're not thinking the right thoughts, and you don't have the right discernment to make the right decisions. And so it's all related to, you know, your mental health and directly related to what you eat. And I noticed in our community that a lot of us are still on the SAD diet, which is the standard American diet. And it's called SAD for a reason. And us being on that diet is the reason why we are number one in heart disease. We're number one in high cholesterol. We're number one in high blood pressure. We're number one in everything. And that's because we have a miseducation on how to take care of ourselves and nutrition. And so my organization, we talk about holistic wellness. And being a 2-time war veteran myself, I've healed myself of depression, obesity, fibroids, hypothyroid, cyst on my ovaries, and just a slew of other issues. Just cleaning up my diet, cleaning up the way that I ate, cleaning up my mental, and changing to a plant-based diet. And that has literally saved my life. It has saved my mental health. And this is something that I want our community and the veteran community to be more educated and aware on. That, you know, your gut health is directly related to your mental health. And we cannot enjoy the fruits of our labor if we're sick in the bed. We're bedridden. That is not how God wants us to live. We should be living a healthy and abundant life. And everything that He placed here is for our health. And so that's what I really want to get across with my organization, is that mental health and physical health, they're all related. Okay. You cannot do one and not the other.
How can we get in touch with you, Keisha?
So my website is vetsofvirtue.com. You can order the care kits, which is more so dedicated to mental health. It has a whole slew of mental health resources in there that can, you know, really assist with balancing of your mental health. So that's virtue.com.
Thank you, Keisha. Thank you. Now let me, because we're getting close to the edge. I want to kind of finish the other two elements of the claim, and then I want Kennedy to have a word about what his experience and how this made him feel going through this. The fourth element of the claim is your rating. Now, where your rating comes from? It comes from the severity and chronic nature of your ailment. Now, if you don't have medical notes to do that, then you're going to have a low rating. You know, the less treatment notes you have, the lower your rating going to be. Because there's no way for them to rate you any higher than you have noted your claim. So we got to remember that. You need to have medical notes about the treatment and stuff to get a rating. The effective date. Now, it used to be a time the effective date was when you file. Start from the day they receive your claim. Then they moved up and they got the intent to file stuff, which gave you you file your intent to file, then you got a year to file your substantial claim. That sets the effective date. Now, that's kind of important because now the effective date is filed with intent to file, and you're filing a claim within 60 days of your intent to file. Your claim going to be ruled on within another 90 days. So within a 6-month time period. Now they've cut the claim process, and it's critical that you understand all of these elements before you even start trying to file a claim, because if you don't satisfy these elements in your filing, you're going to be denied. Period. I can guarantee you that. I've seen too many cases where people didn't have a diagnosis, right? No diagnosis. Man, they didn't prepare to file a claim. They lost. No diagnosis. Or they didn't have service nucleus evidence. Or they couldn't attach what they were suffering back to what they experienced in service. If you can't do that, and then you ain't got no medical to show treatment of your condition, then your rating gonna be low. And your effective date is determined now by the intent to file. So, lastly, I want, and I know this is frustrating for Kenny because we've been calling the VA, because we check. I like for all of my people to check on their claims once they file, because the VA have a habit not processing your claim. They'll sit on the desk somewhere. So Kenny, you had this experience. Can you share with our audience about some of the stuff you've been going through briefly?
Well, my name is Kenneth Allen, and I'm a Vietnam era veteran. I didn't actually set foot in Vietnam, but I was experienced through the contacts I've had with other people that were there, and because of the fact before they even sprayed Agent Orange in Vietnam, they tested it out there at Fort Gordon. That's where I was stationed for almost, a year and a half after I got out of basic training. And I just want to tell other veterans that they will take you through the ringer, and you just have to preserve. And I'm here, one reason I'm here is to learn too, because there's a whole lot of things that you're capable of getting, you just don't know about it. Mm-hmm. So basically, that's it.
Thank you, Kenny. And I want to thank everybody for today, because I think that what we're trying to do is have a informative show. Not just veterans talking to veterans, but talking about issues that's important to the veteran, right? To our families and to our communities. Now we're gonna keep going through this one more. We're gonna stay on the claim elements for the rest of the month, because next Saturday, we'll be talking about the Commemorative Bricks. We'll be doing a brickathon. We're gonna have this young lady that I just met and some other people on talking about this memorial.
For the month of May?
For the whole month of May.
Okay.
Why the whole month of May? Memorial Day is in May. Mm-hmm. And what we have been blessed to get this project to the point that we can actually finish it this year. Now, what we're trying to do starting next month is give Atlanta an opportunity to put their name in the park with this project. Mm-hmm. And what we're gonna do, they got 5 levels of brick that you can buy, but we're focusing on getting people, because right now we need to get the bricks sold and get them engraved and get them back to the builders, because they're getting ready to break ground. We don't want to be the holdup. We're not going to be the holdup. We're not going to be the holdup. You just want to get a brick with your name on it, and if I got mine. So you want to get a brick with your name on it. You want to get a brick with your name on it in the park.
Okay.
And it might not matter to you, but it might matter to your family.
Right.
It might matter to somebody that care about you and what you went through in the military. They might want to see your name there long after you're gone. Yeah. It's a tribute, it's a tribute. So thank you. See you next week, and great show. Thank you.
Well, that was a quick hour.